going on, guys? Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to Extreme Daily Drivers, where we are always balling on a budget and wrenching our garage. Today we're doing a total budget thing because I don't think it's going to cost us really anything. So what we're doing today is we are going to attempt to make a modification, more mods to this front bumper, and we're going to attempt a bumper tuck. That's right, guys. If you remember a couple episodes back, we went ahead and cut this bumper down, and I actually think we did a semi-aggressive but not too aggressive of a job doing it. And from certain angles, I think the bumper looks great. Yeah, like head on here, dude, it looks awesome. And you get over here a little bit, still looks really cool. I like the way it looks, but when you get here, it looks kind of stupid. So what we're gonna attempt today, I've never seen done. I don't know if it's gonna work. In my head, it's gonna work. I've been thinking about this for weeks, but if it does work, it is going to make a massive change to the look of this vehicle, the entire vehicle, like one of the biggest changes I've ever made to it. So I'm real excited about it. Let me show you what we're going to be doing. So our goal today is to move this in, and I would like to move it in so that this seam, you see this seam right here, slides underneath the headlight. That's what the goal is. Then we would only have this much of the bumper showing, and it would just shorten the overall length of the vehicle significantly. It's going to make a dramatic change. And while doing all this, the side fender here will slide further back, maybe even enough to where we can cut this off even, and it'll look right. I don't know, we have to figure that part out. Or we may have to like notch this or something, or not. I guess we would notch it like this, so that this piece slides all the way back. So we got a lot of stuff to work out here. So it's time to get to work. Grill's coming out, bumper's coming off. I've done this in like 3 different videos. I'll have a link down below if you're wondering how to take your bumper off for the first time. I'll have a link down in the description on how to do it, but this guy's coming off. Give me a minute, I'll have it done in 2 seconds. All right, 5 minutes later, we got the bumper off. Now, in order for us to get this bumper to slide, we're gonna have to get rid of this. We're gonna have to either get rid of it or trim it. We got these metal knobs, they need to go. A couple 10mm bolts, pull that off. This guy has to remain in some fashion, but we certainly don't need all this silly profile to it. I really just want the top piece because the bumper cover actually sits on top of this. This gets incorporated into the headlights a little bit, and it's also incorporated into the grille a little bit. So this is good news, actually. Since these brackets are kind of here for the grill, we don't have to worry about fabbing something up to fasten the bottom of the grill. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this guy off, and I'm going to probably just cut right across here, all the way across, get rid of the thickness here. That'll allow us to push the bumper closer to the body of the car. All right, Operation Bumper Tuck. This plastic has been trimmed. Remember, if you're doing this, it doesn't need to be gorgeous. No one is going to see this. So it's a little rough here and there. It's okay. We'll then bring our attention to the actual bumper cover. And yeah, I think we're going to trim this even more, because if we leave it as is, as we slide it onto the car, this is going to get in the way. Yep. So I think what we're going to do is right here, and then, and that's what we're gonna be left with. All right, there's the rest of the bumper. There's the new look, and honestly, it looks almost like it did earlier. It's just a little bit more showing underneath now, so you can see here. But I got a plan for that in the future, so don't worry about that. It turned out pretty good, man. Turned out pretty good. So we're getting ready to make our final trim, and I'm just under here checking everything out, seeing how everything's gonna fit, and I'm noticing that the fog light cup slides into a kind of brace, I guess, whatever this is, on that initial piece of plastic that we cut up. So I'm gonna have to trim that off. That's gotta come off, because as this bumper slides in, it's going into that little cup. All right, so this is one of those deals where you want to make sure you're happy where it's at. And let me show you what I came up with here. 2 inches. I want everything 2 inches or in. I don't know if you can see that. 2 inches seems to be, to me, kind of the point of no return. We don't want to go too much further than 2 inches. Now it's 2.5 here. We have this room here to make up if we need it. Over here again, right around 2 inches, and I'll be cutting along here. So the reason 2 inches, 2 reasons. One, that's how thick this is, 2 inches. And the other, let me show you real quick back here. This plastic piece here that we cut in half, this is actually almost 3 inches thick, this cutoff piece here. So I think 2 inches will be good. What is going on, guys? It is the next day, and today we're going to finish up the bumper on the Commander. This is where we're at right now. Hey, from right here it actually doesn't look so bad, but as you get closer, you're gonna see. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's not good. And this is being held on with self-tapping screws because it's too short. And then over here we got more of the same problem. So I know what you're saying to yourself, dude, you've totally ruined your bumper. Oh my God, this was such a bad idea. Yes, it's currently semi-ruined, but hopefully today we're gonna fix it. I know what the issue is, but keep in mind, I took this project on knowing that it probably would not really work out. I was hoping it would, and it still might. I'm hoping it still will, but I knew the risk involved and know that the bumper that's on here, no matter how cool it turns out when we're finished, is gonna get removed anyway. I'm going with a fully custom front end here in a couple months. So whatever I did today was only gonna be temporary. And also know, like I've said many times in other videos, Commanders are all over junkyards. If I wanted to just kind of start over, I could just run to the junkyard, get a new front bumper, get some new fender flares, and go from there. So it's not the end of the world. I knew the risk involved, but if this works out, I think it's gonna be pretty rad, and it's worth the effort. So let me show you what the issue is and why it's not fitting properly. So as you guys know, when I went ahead and made my initial cut, I kind of used a 2-inch parameter around the whole bumper, and I wanted to stay within those 2 inches because I thought that's what I needed in order for all this to cover up. And what I didn't take into account was this section of the bumper right here. This section goes in probably a 1/2 inch, and that's what's hitting right now on the metal behind it, and that's what's preventing this bumper from moving another 1/2 inch in, which would solve all of our seam issues here that you see around the perimeter. So I've been racking my brain all last night and some this morning trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, and we have kind of 3 options. So what we can do is we can cut this section out. If I remove this section of the bumper, this should slide another 1/2 inch in. It's going to leave a hole here if I do that, which we'll have to figure out a way to make that look decent, okay? But by doing that, we will achieve our goal of continuing to shorten this ridiculous bumper. I mean, if this moves back another 1/2 inch, we're gonna meet our goal of, basically slimming down this front end and getting rid of this kind of overbite that this truck comes with. Option number 2 is cutting away the metal behind here, which would allow this to move back, cutting a slot into the metal bumper that's behind there. The problem with that is we may mess with the structural integrity of the actual front bumper. Now, I don't plan on crashing into anything, so I'm not really worried about structural integrity too much, but I am worried about future modification with the custom front end. I don't want to create more work for the custom fabricator by cutting pieces away of the metal, so that part is pretty much out. So option number 3 is to basically force this to fit, okay, which you can see I can do with my hand, and going underneath or removing headlights or something and putting in a number of screws and holding this bumper into place. So with all of our options there, option 2 to me is out because I don't want to mess with the structural integrity, not because I'm worried about crashing into anybody, believe me, I'm not worried about that. What I am worried about is when I bring this to the fabricator and he has to do additional work or can't work with what I had done to the car, and that's what I'm worried about. So 2 is out. Number 3, I don't think I want to do that either, because I think what's going to happen is I'm going to wind up turning everything into Swiss cheese by creating a bunch of screws or zip ties or something that ultimately may be hidden or may give way over time. Maybe something I have an issue with for a prolonged period of time. And I think that option will actually just cause me to kind of chase my tail, put a lot of work into this, and not get the outcome I want. So I think we're going with option number one. And I know it's going to be weird, but you know, who knows? Maybe we can make this thing work out and look cool after all. But yeah, we're going to go with option number one. I'm taking this grill apart, I'm taking this bumper back off, and we're going to cut holes into the bumper to allow it to slide on like we want it.
2 hours later.
All right. It's been several hours. We're finished. It's not perfect. Check it out. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even really feel like I accomplished a goal that I wanted to accomplish. I mean, I did, but not to the extent that I was hoping. So what I'm referring to is the profile of the bumper. And it definitely doesn't stick out as much as it did. But I don't know, man. I had in my head a much more dramatic look. So yeah, it was a lot of work for, in my opinion, not much of a result. But hey, man, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes it just works out that way. And when you do jobs like this, they are the most time consuming. Just because it's so much cutting and fitting and cutting and fitting and trimming and cutting and fitting, and you just do it over and over and over again. It takes up tons of time. So here, let's just go over the final aftermath. So yeah, I cut these holes here. These aren't perfect, they're not finished, but what I did was, instead of the exposed bumper, is I kind of cut up a piece of aluminum and just fit it in there. It's just in there with friction. It's not drilled in or glued in or anything like that. It's not going anywhere. The bumper's holding it tight. But I think it looks better than what it was beforehand. So same over here, you know, and again, if you're looking at it from here, it's really not that bad. It's just when you get up close to it and you start really investigating, you see that, oh yeah, there's all gaps in here and blah, blah, blah. So all in all, guys, a lot of work for, you know, kind of a little result. Whenever I do videos like this, I'm always like, should I even do this video? Because we didn't achieve the outcome that we so desired, and we have something that is all hacked up now on the car. And it's more like a fail video than anything else. But it's important to show that not everything always works out. You know, I had thought about doing this for weeks, and I had in my head that this was going to be awesome. And although, again, I did achieve the goal, the bumper is moved back closer 2 inches. And if I was parked next to a normal Jeep Commander, the difference would probably be significant. But just looking at the overall look of the car, it is not as significant as I was hoping. So a little bit of a letdown there. If I were to do this all again, I'd have to go back to the first bumper chop I did, and I would not be as aggressive with it. What I would do is I would copy this front end. I think this front end looks great. If you guys noticed too, I didn't do it on camera. I took the little chrome piece off and reinstalled it down here. I think it looks really cool just as is. Obviously it doesn't do anything, it's just a piece of plastic, but it just looks neat. It gives it more of a finished look from the front, and I do like this kind of cut here. I do like how much the tire's exposed, all that kind of stuff I like. And then over here, what I would have done differently, when I said earlier I wouldn't have done it so aggressively, I would have cut it like this. So straight across from the bottom of the bumper, and I would have left the fender flare to come down to this area here. So it would not have been nearly as significant on the side as it is in the front, but it would have done a better job of hiding all this area here. And also it would have allowed me to continue to run my splash guard further down. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. I know it was kind of a long video, but I wanted to take you along kind of my thought process and hoping that this was gonna work out. And again, I'm not heartbroken over it. It's a Jeep, it's not the Prelude or the Miata. Like I said, these things are a dime a dozen at the junkyard. Go get a new front bumper cover anytime I want and redo it the way I'm thinking. But like I've been saying, man, we are going full custom on the front end of this Jeep. Full custom. So all of this is pretty much going to be gone in a couple months. So I don't know that I'm willing to put the effort into cutting this the way I want to cut it and everything else. So I think I might just live with it for now. We'll see, unless it drives me nuts. And for right now, I'm kind of all right with it. Anyway, guys, if you made it this far, thanks so much. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next week, man. I still got tons more stuff to do to this Jeep. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.